start it?
Yep.
Hello?
If it's lit up, you're good.
Yep. It's lit.
But it's not, is it working?
It's not microphone here, it's just the recording.
Oh,
As loud as you go.
sorry. I was like, it's not doing anything. Hello, everybody. We are officially calling meeting number 2 to order for the establishment of the Central Carroll County Fire Protection Territory at 6:34 p.m. I am Abby Parker. I am the fiscal consultant on this.
Dan Shackle, I'm attorney with FBT Gibbons.
You're up here, you got it.
Help. Brian Graff here to help both townships form this territory. Go Brian. Yes. We're going to tag team this again, just like we did the first time. So let's get a little bit of the legal requirements out of the way. I think the bottom line is we're trying to save both these township fire departments so we can keep it local. But in order to do that, there is some legal requirements that we have to meet. One of them is to have 3 public meetings, which this is the second. We have another one next week. And then there's an adoption one a couple of weeks, 3 weeks after that. So we have advertisement. It's already been in there. I think we have a separate advertisement going in for the equipment replacement fund, getting ready to do that. Abby's providing our financial analysis. And the one thing that has to happen is both townships have to have identical resolutions. So we do have copies of those. I apologize, it's not the most current one for Rock Creek, but anyway, that at least gives you an idea of what those resolutions would look like.
The participating units are Jackson Township, Rock Creek Township, with Jackson Township being the provider unit, which basically means they're going to be the primary. At the very bottom, you can see a breakdown of the net assessed value for pay year 26. Approximately 73% of the total belong to Jackson Township and 27% belong to Rock Creek Township. 27 is a projection, so everything you'll see here is a projection for 27. We expect a very similar breakdown between NAV between the 2 townships. I'm going to explain the difference between a taxing unit and a taxing district. Taxing unit, each individual unit, such as the township, establishes their individual rate, but the rate of the taxing district is what each taxpayer pays. So for Jackson Township, you can see for 26, the district rate, which is what taxpayers actually pay on, is $1.3107 on every $100 of assessed value. Of that, you have a breakdown of the Jackson Township General and Jackson Township Fire. Same with Rock Creek. Their overall rate is 1.3323, with Fire being at 0.0233. And this is all a projection, keeping it flat from 26 to 27. The only thing that changes is the Township Fire rate goes to 0 in 27. And we add in the fire territory rate of 0.2283, which is both the operations fund and the equipment replacement fund.
So a little bit about the fire departments. For Jackson Township, we have 23 volunteers, actually 1 junior firefighter. That's fine. No, the biggest thing is I think from both departments, Rock Creek has 10 volunteers. We do share volunteers between the 2 departments. We've been working together probably now for 4 or 5 years. Both of the departments have seen a large increase in the number of runs. For us, it's been about a 50% increase. With Rock Creek, you can see almost a double in their run volume. That's another reason why we want to keep it local. Times for these responses, if it was out of somewhere else, you could see 5, 10, 15 minutes easy.
So for the new territory, we have an option of doing a phase-in for the tax rate or going what we call flat out. So we are doing a flat rate for both townships. We're not having a different rate, and we're going to set the rate at the beginning in 27, and we're going to keep it at that instead of phasing it in. The pay rate for pay 2027, which is going to be based on the 26 assessed value, will be at 0.1950, so 19 and a half cents per $100 of net assessed value. The new fire territory funding will also include funds to hire 2 full-time firefighters to be present approximately Monday through Friday, 8 to 4.
Yep. Any questions? Yep.
So why do this? It's a consistent and guaranteed revenue rather than the current structure of relying on lit funds from the township to fund the fire departments. As it stands right now, without new legislation being passed in 2028, lit funding structure will be drastically different. The projections are each township is going to lose a significant amount of money, and it is all up to the county council. No longer guaranteed income. You could actually end up receiving $0 in lit money. This guarantees property tax funding any amount necessary to fund firefighting services. Better response time, you can have more volunteers, more equipment opportunities because we have that guaranteed equipment replacement fund levy, and a possibility of a better ISO rating.
Yep.
Future capital improvements, lots of normal gear that the firefighters need to protect themselves. There is no current plans to build a new fire station or purchase land for the territory.
This is just a snapshot of what we've looked at when we've budgeted out for the next 3 years.
So the project, how we do this, we can't just tell the state, hey, we want $5 million. The state will laugh at us and say, go away. What you have to do is create a budget, which we have projected 27 through 2030 budget based on the actual approved budget for each fire department in 26 with a 5% growth in expenditures each year. Then we have backed into what we need the levy to be to fund that. We've also factored in associated taxes such as the commercial vehicle excise tax and the auto and aircraft excise tax, and any fire contract agreements currently in place like Camden. And then we back into the rate using the formula levy equals rate multiplied by net assessed value divided by 100. Carroll County is unique in that there is a property tax freeze right now, a levy freeze. So instead of projecting a growth of around 4 to 5% each year in the levy, for assumption purposes and projections, we have left that to be flat for the operations fund. Equipment replacement fund is slightly different. It does not grow based on the maximum growth quotient assigned by the state. It grows in direct proportion to the net assessed value. The maximum rate allowed is 0.0333, which is the rate we will be requesting and we will advertise for and ask both boards to approve and adopt. The equipment replacement fund can only be used for capital outlay purposes. And you can see here, this is our proposed budget, and we expect to receive approximately $56,000 from the levy in 2027 with the 0.0333 rate. This might be hard to see. This is the projected revenue, revenue and expenses for 27, 28, 29, and 30 for both the general operations fund and the equipment replacement fund. You will see in the salaries and wages the estimated cost to hire 2 full-time firefighters. Sorry. Circuit breaker credits are a revenue constraint or limit. There are 3 categories, 1%, 2%, and 3%. 1% includes personal homes and up to 1 acre of land or homesteads. 2% property is typically agricultural land and residential properties such as apartment complexes. 3% properties are commercial, industrial, and other personal property. Because of the levy freeze and such low rates in Carroll County, that's not really a problem for you guys. Also, in addition, there's a circuit breaker credit for those age 65 and older. And because of Public Law 6825, in 26, there is a supplemental homestead credit that applies to the 1% properties. It reduces your liability by 1/10 or $300, whichever is less. So because you are the only county in the state with a levy freeze, like I said before, you don't grow, your levy doesn't grow by the normal growth quotient. And you typically don't have debt service levies either. So you can't take out debt and have property taxes increase to pay for that debt. There's only 3 districts or taxing units in the county that are high enough to cause a circuit breaker credit: Delphi Corporation, Camden, and Flora, which are the city and towns. You can see their unit rate and district rate. Because those 3 will not be included in the territory, circuit breaker credit should not be affected by the territory. So we're going to have a 0 impact on circuit breakers. Local income tax impacts. Lit public safety shares is not affected because Carroll County does not distribute them to anybody. Lit economic development shares is not applicable because the recipients of those are only the county and cities and towns, none of which are included in the territory. Actual lit certified shares is currently based on the prior year's distribution and the property tax levy, excluding some debt service funds. There are some unique factors for the county, like a welfare adjustment and territory adjustments. So what a territory adjustment does is, because Jackson Township will be the provider unit, they'll have a higher levy, which would, in the normal world of lit, increase their lit, making an unfair advantage to, or a disadvantage to Rock Creek, who would just be a participating unit. The territory adjustment gives that portion back. Every unit within the county, except for Rock Creek and Jackson, will see a slight decrease in the local income tax amounts, with Rock Creek and Jackson seeing a slight increase. Now, because of the formula, if the territory is formed in 27, the lit changes will not be noticed until 28. Based on the current statute in place, the lit formula is set to change effective 27 for first pay in 28, which then it's based solely on a 2020 census for townships if the county allows it, and fire territories would be based on population served and square mileage served, none of which have anything to do with a levy or prior lit shares. So that formula will have no impact on a new territory. And once again, this all is dependent on legislation signed in this session that could delay the new lit formula. So what is the impact to the taxpayer? You can see here for a residential homeowner with an assessed value of approximately $100,000 in Jackson Township from 2027 to 2030, you're going to pay roughly $170 more. Because of the new homestead credit and supplemental credits, those are actually going to start reducing your net assessed value based on a percentage. So the higher your net assessed or your assessed value is, the less in taxes you're actually going to pay, which is why you can see if you have a residential home valued at $350,000 of assessed value, you're actually going to pay less in property taxes over the course of the years.
Is that per year or is that?
This is cumulative 2027 to 2030. Our financial impact has actually a daily and yearly in there.
Because the top one's residential. And then agricultural minimum.
Yes. So residential has homestead deductions and the supplemental homestead deduction. Agricultural and commercial don't have quite that many. So that's why theirs increases, but residentials tend to decrease. Meeting dates, times, and locations. We had our first meeting last week. Today is our second meeting. Our third public meeting will be next Wednesday, here again. And our vote will be March 24th back at the Camden-Jackson Volunteer Fire Department. How to get more information. Here is the contact information for Jackson Township trustee. You can attend the joint public hearings, and there is an address, phone number, and email address for more information. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Did I hit all my requirements?
So,
No questions? Going once? Twice? Public meeting is officially closed at 6:50 p.m.
Can't wait to.
No.